Hello! In this video we are at the Linden reveal. Now it was revealed yesterday at about 6 o'clock in the morning, Second Lifetime. I was lucky enough to come along at the reveal, and right where I'm stood now we had all of the Lindens and the moles very proudly stood there as we got to see for the first time the new theme, which is Victorian. Now I've come back the day after, which is now currently Saturday afternoon here in the UK, about 1 o'clock. Got in here now just before America wakes up, so that I can hopefully get a very quick video to show you the new theme. Now I understand, as I am speaking and making this video right now, that maybe they've already released some, from what I can tell. But this is what we saw, and I want you to see it anyway. So this is a reveal region, and as you can see we've got nice cobbled roads. Now something that immediately strikes a vibe with me personally is the fact that I live in the northwest of England, where I work in Manchester, which I'm sure plenty of you have heard of. And Manchester is a very Victorian city in itself, and still has a lot of these cobbled roads to this day. And I actually walk along one every day, and I intend to take a picture with my phone next time I go to work, so that I can share that with some people in the world, just to show you just how accurate this is. To me, it's almost like I'm stood on that very road. So that obviously, you know, connects with me. There's a number of very traditionally British things here, Victorian age obviously spanning from that. The willow trees, for example, the ducks in the pond, the style of bridges, the foliage especially, the plants, the flowers. You know, we get a lot of these, they're like English garden flowers. Of course, the houses, on the other hand, are more American Victorian era. So if you've ever watched Beetlejuice or any of those kind of things, those really old style houses, you'll probably recognise some of the houses here. They have that feel. So let's have a wander. Let's go along here. I am already, and have already said, I fully intend to buy a Victorian get-up so I can walk around with my bowler hat and my stick. I have to have the cane, just to feel like I'm doing the full Victorian thing. I totally expect you all to get the get-up. If I don't walk into the Victorian region and see horses and carts and people running around going, 2p for a picnic, governor, I'll be very upset. I'm kidding, of course. But now here's a little very Englishish kind of garden with a beautiful waterfall. Look at these flowers. Now I don't know what they're called because I'm a terrible botanist, but let's have a look. Does it tell me what they're called? They're hydrangeas. Now I know the name hydrangea if you'd have said it to me, but you get a lot of these. My gran used to have them in her garden, bless. So I recognise them quite a lot. And we've got red roses, we've got yellow roses. Beautiful. So the little garden area. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of public surprises that we'll get to see as they build away. Now here's the first style of house. I mean, I love these willow trees, look. I don't know if you've ever seen a willow tree, depending on where you live in the world, but we have a lot of these in the UK, willow trees. They tend to be really old trees as well, and very big, and you can sit underneath them in the summer. It's quite nice. There's a little bird bath, look, check it. No bird is on there, but it's a little bird bath. I could have done a smoother zoom on that, but there you go. Let's have a look. So here's the first style of house. Now this kind of, for me, this structure here, very typical of the period. This being the Verne style of home. Now I spoke to a few people. Oh, back up, detail. Check the Victorian mailbox. Look at that. Look at that. Proper little flap on the front, little letterbox. Very beautiful. Okay, let's go in here. Now, I've spoken to a few people, and we've all agreed that although technically they're not bigger, somehow they feel bigger. Now, it's funny, you know, because obviously I understand that, you know, Second Life is a truly international platform, and obviously it's based in the US, and so there's a lot of US influence, of course, in here as well. But I don't doubt there is a lot of influence from all over the world as well. But, which makes it really interesting for me, because obviously the style of the houses is what I would consider to be very American. However, it's these little details, like this doorway, for example. There are still loads of houses in the UK which were built in Victorian times, which has this exact style of door frame. And in fact, the thing that really stands out is the glass. because during this period, glass works with lead. So the black stuff here would be made of lead, be lead glass, and they would literally be individual pieces of glass. It was not uncommon to have different coloured pieces of glass in there as well. You can visit, in fact, where my parents live. They live in a very traditional terraced house arrangement, which if you're not familiar with what that is, we tend to have brick houses in the UK rather than wooden houses, but they used to build them all connected together in a big row that goes all the way up a hill. In the case of my parents' house, it's a big hill, so these houses are all joined together. I think you get like a little entry which goes down the back of the houses once every 4 houses of them, something like that. But they're joined in a big row, and some of them have got these doorways built into them because they would have been built in like the early 1900s, late 1800s, which is when these kind of periods began. Again, the door, traditional brass knocker, traditional brass box. Now, you would go to UK right now and you would still find houses with this, because this kind of architecture from the Victorian time hasn't really lost its place at all. We haven't replaced it. There's a lot of it still around, which is why this is such a really interesting mix of cultures in one place, because there's very much the American culture of those days when, you know, a lot of Brits escaped. Lucky them. But, you know, they escaped to pastures new, and they created what we know now to be like New England and places like that. So, you know, there's that mixture of cultures is very interesting. Now, you see, it feels really big. I think bay windows, now that's another thing, another Victorian thing. A lot of old Victorian houses in the UK have what we call bay windows, which is this style where they bay out. And you get a lot of them where my grand's house, for example, was built in the 50s, which is somewhat after the Victorian period. But they still had the bay windows because they do seem to give an illusion of grandeur, but also an illusion that your room is slightly bigger than it really is. It's only a little outreach of the building, but it just has this real effect of, so like this area here feels expansive. I think that's the word I'm looking for. If you think about it, it doesn't feel cramped at all, right? Still the same dimensions as any of the houses we've already seen, but they do have this interestingly large feel about them. And I guess it's a lot to do with the architecture. I mean, in Victorian times, everything was very grand. It was a time of industrial revolution. There were people making lots of money. Sadly, there were lots of people not making lots of money. People like me, if I was around in those days, would probably be working in some factory somewhere, and may not even have lived to this age in those days. But, you know, everything was grand. You know, grand holiday resorts like Blackpool and places like that in the UK, and also very grand houses to show how wealthy, you know, they were. And it was, you know, your home was your stature, if you like. Right, we'll move on to the next house. So that was the Verne. Let's have a look at this next one. I do love these. I mean, look at this foliage. I mean, it's, if you've never seen this kind of thing before, and I gather that some people who don't live in certain places would have seen these kind of flowers before, but this is so like what it's like, you know, if you wonder about certain parts. Again, I've not been to the States, so sadly I don't know if any of these still grow somewhere there. They may do. You hit me up with a comment and tell me. Maybe even, you know, send a real life picture or something. I'd be interested to see. But this kind of, what I kind of see as a traditional English kind of garden, you can almost smell it. It's really weird. If you were here in the summer and you went past this kind of floral arrangement, you could smell the flowers. Sadly, we don't have many well-kept gardens like that anymore. It's a bit of an art form. But sadly, not many house people nowadays, housekeepers, people who live in homes, have time. We're all busy these days. We don't have time to spend on the garden to do that. So look at this now. We've got a different style of brickwork here, and a bit of ironwork as well for the fence. Now this house looks huge, and again, nothing, I'm sure that they're exactly the same size as the normal houses, but they have this kind of really grand feel about them. Again, it's the whole Victorian period where everything was grand. Now, I mean, I do love these homes, gotta say, and I think that may be partly because I can connect closer to them because of where I stem from, of course. And I'm hoping that, you know, because we're all mixed, there'll be a little bit of everybody in these homes. There's the American part, there's the English part. in wooden homes, I think Dutch as well, you know, in Holland, I know, and they still have a lot of traditional old wooden houses. But look at this room. This room feels huge to me. And again, I really do think it makes me wonder, as I make the video, I'm literally thinking out loud, that I've never really considered the bay window thing. But you know what? Architects' skills are what they are, you know, and those of us who don't really think about architecture in any kind of deep way, you know, are in the dark, really. They'd be sitting there grinning to themselves thinking, yeah, we've known that all the time. That's why we put the bay in. But, you know, it works. You know, it makes it feel bigger. This, again, big bedroom as well, feels big. Let's get moving. I think people are starting to turn up because I'm getting a bit of lag now. This is what I was worried about. Obviously, very popular region. Not necessarily the greatest for trying to make videos. Yeah, I'm having awful trouble at the moment. Don't let this be a bad reflection on Second Life. This is a very, very busy region. So I knew it was going to be problematic, but we will hold tight. In fact, here's a little trick. Let me just do something now. Here's a bit of Second Life 101. Let's go to your preferences screen. And let me see if I can just make sure I de-render people or their complexities, because I imagine it's the people that are the problem, not the actual place. Let's try that. Of course, when people come on Sims that are busy and they wear lots of jewellery and everything else, it really does slow you down. So I forgot to do that before I started the video. If you're going to make videos in SL, if I've learned anything, turn the people off as much as possible, because that will help you to keep the frames up. Yeah, we've got quite a few people here at the moment. So there's a little duck pond over there, look. And we've got, that's a nice little bridge. And I'm just going to, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. There you go. My videos are always very raw and they're always uncut, but this one's going to get cut. I'm going to stop here just so I can make a few tweaks to see if I can get the lag away, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. What I did in the end. Here's another tipster on how to use the Firestorm viewer. I went up to Avatar. In fact, I probably didn't. I went to World. Show friends only. As I have no friends here, that means it's got rid of all of the other avatars. And no disrespect to any of you lovely avatars, but when I'm trying to make a video, it's very hard without lag. So I'm afraid I've had to make you vanish for now. So we carry on here, and we're at the next house. Nice bird bath again there. And if we walk along here, you can see again these nice brick walls and ironwork and these nice little bushes in the. It's just got such a lovely feel. So again, these houses, they just feel very big. And again, it's a combination of bay windows and this kind of bowing out bit, which are more like turrets. I'm sure there's a proper designy word for it. I don't know what it is exactly. Cove or something maybe. But the roundy bit that sticks out the side. We all know the roundy bit, right? So, but again, you see, that roundy bit just gives it that little bit of a panoramic view. You know, that's a thing, you see. You think about bay windows and those panoramics, you get to see out in 3 different directions there. It makes it feel wider, you know, your vision of outside. See, who thought you'd learn so much about architecture in Second Life just by wondering about the homes? But you do. And I start to pay attention, because I guess one of the unique things we can do here in Second Life is we can wonder about a house like this in a way that we can't necessarily do in real life, with a perspective that we can't. We can't walk about with a big camera. Well, we probably could walk about with a selfie stick attached to our back so we can see the view from behind us, but let's be honest, we're probably not going to do that. 2 lovely big bedrooms up here. Look. Again, it's amazing how these give that extra kind of expanse. The other thing, of course, is a lot of these windows will be slidey. I'm trying to think. I'm terrible with this, you know. The name of these windows, they have a name, basically, where you slide them up and you slide them down, and inside they have little weights and string, which is how they counterbalance. Maybe when I remember the name of the windows, I'll either say in the video or I'll put it in the comments below. But I don't know if it's sash windows. They call them sash windows. But we had them in my home when I grew up, but they weren't anymore. They'd been converted. The house that I lived in, here you go, a little bit of history that you didn't expect. The house I used to live in as a kid was bombed during the Second World War. So they had to emergency repair it, because in those days there was rations and they didn't have any money. So what they did is those old nice Victorian bay windows got burnt out, but rather than replace them, they just replaced them with like a whole pane of glass, if that makes any sense, in the old frame. So years later, when I was younger and my parents decided to have double glazing fitted, they pulled them all out and found that actually the weights and the ropes were still in the sides of the sash windows. I think they're called sash windows. So there you go, a little bit of a useless information for you. I guess that's what people like about these videos, I assume. Here's another duck pond look. Shall we just do a bit of duck spotting? Hello. See, duckies? All the ducks are swimming in the water. There you go. I do like duck ponds, they're quite relaxing, actually. Now, this one's a bit more of a bungalow style house. We call them bungalows over here. I'm not entirely sure if they're called bungalows internationally or not, but it's what we call a house that only has one floor. So a lot of elderly homes and stuff like that tend to be like this, so people don't have to try and negotiate the stairs. Another thing about Victorian homes is they had a thing, certainly the house I grew up in, they weren't scared of steep stairs. And, you know, seriously, I say this, and you have no idea if you've never been on one of these staircases, how as a child, I was frightened to walk down the stairs. And I'm not even joking you, right? The stairs are that steep from top to bottom because they've squished it into such a small gap that when you're a tiny little kid and you look down those stairs at the bottom and your parents are telling you to come downstairs to have your tea, I used to slide down the stairs on my bum because I was frightened to walk down the stairs. There's another true story. I tell you what, these houses bring out some interesting stories, don't they? Look at this though. Big rooms again. The rooms feel really big. Again, I'm assured by those in the know that these rooms are no bigger than the houses we've seen previously, but the architecture itself really does lend a hand to that. Victorians also had a thing about tall ceilings as well. They really did like tall ceilings. I don't know what the tall ceiling thing was all about. I'm sure someone out there knows, but... So you see, this is just a one-floor house, but it's massive, you know, there's plenty of room in it. I do like them. I like them a lot. And I just love these gardens. You know, they're just so flowery and summery. And of course, how could I miss out the gas lamp posts? Check it. Now, these are still very popular again in the UK. You get a lot of what they've done is they've kept the original, I don't know what they're actually made of it, the black metal painted posts, and they've just put electric lighting in them. But if you look at these, you can see there, look, that's actually proper gas. Man would come along, shove a flame in there, and these little bobbly bits that stick out would start burning, and it would give you a light. I've not actually seen these at night yet, so that'll be interesting to see. Oh, do you know what? It's almost like with the power of Second Life. I can probably make that happen right now. Let's see, shall we? Sun position, midnight. No, because technically the problem there is that the lamps haven't come on. So no, they're probably... I wonder if I can switch... Can I click it? No. Okay. It was a long shot. but of course they're going to be programmed so that they work with the region time. Never mind. We'll go back to estate time. Just have to wait and see them, won't you? When the Victorian regions open, you'll have to go looking for them at night. But I imagine you'll get a lovely light. Now, what I want to know, and it's a little curiosity here, they'll come on, but I wonder if they've put sound in them. This is what I don't know. How far will the moulds go? Have they just made them light up, or have they put like a little gas roaring sound in them? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, because I know a lot of them like to go all the way. So I don't know if they have gone all the way, or whether they were able to go all the way. You know, I suppose some people might find a roaring gas lamp quite annoying. But it's a nice touch. So this house always reminds me of Amityville, the film. I think it was Amityville. The haunted house on the hill and all that. Because of that round thing on the right-hand side. The silo-shaped thing. Again, this is the same style house as the other one. I've been very rude, actually. I haven't told you what the style of the houses are. So this one is the Shelley, which is the one that's got the big round tube on it, the Shelley. We'll revisit them very quickly before the end. Oh, I like the colour of the door, though. I imagine a lot of this stuff, of course, is fully customisable in the menu for the house. As you may have noticed, or I certainly have noticed, that the house has different colours in different rooms. Now, I'm pretty sure that the houses we currently have, it colours all the rooms the same colour. These have different colours in the different rooms. This I have observed. Now, I assume this means that you will actually be able to change certain elements of the home colour-wise. So we'll have to watch this space on that. Again, these nice big bedrooms with these windows. It's lovely, isn't it? And the banisters as well. Now these banisters, again, many houses certainly in the UK that still have these. I'm kind of hoping there are bits in the States that still have Victorian homes like this that you can see. I'm sure there is. I've just never been there, so you know, those of you that do know, tell me, send me some pictures. I'd like to see what the houses currently still look like, because I can only relate to what I know, you know. Well, we've done all the houses there, so let's just very quickly do a Barnet Man running thing. Do 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 do, and find out what the house type was called, just to tell you what the house type was. So this one is, that's a Doyle, like Conan Doyle. If you don't know what Conan Doyle is, get on Google. And this one over here looks like it's another Shelley. So we've got the Doyle, we've got the Shelley. Yeah, so that's another Shelley. We've got the Doyle, the Shelley, and the Vern. The Doyle, the Shelley. Actually, this is another one that I didn't do. Comes, give me the edit button. Come on. It's busy here, you see. Give me the edit. There we go. The Hardy. There you go. So that's the Hardy. That was the missing one in the set. Oh, excuse me. And this one here is the Vern, but just to double check because I've been known to get it wrong. That one is the Vern. There you go. So you got all the names. I suppose I could put them in the description below for you, but we'll see how I feel. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Have I missed anything? I always worry I miss things on these videos because I don't edit them or anything, so I literally just do them in one take. Because that's just like I like to roll that way. I think I've shown you everything there is to see, really. Come and check it out. I'll stick the link below so you can come over here. It's here, I think, until the 15th with the expo. So do come over and check these out. But also, keep an eye out for the releases, because I get the impression that while I'm waffling away here, releases are happening right now. Get in the Belisarian Citizens group, because that's where, if anything, you're going to find out when the release is happening. Hope you've enjoyed seeing the new Victorian theme. I want to say a big thank you to Linden Labs for investing in our wonderful moles, and say thank you to our wonderful moles for spending all their creative time making these places, which are truly wonderful, and just giving them lots of love. And I'm hoping that you will also give them lots of love and enjoy what they've been doing. So thank you for now, and I will see you soon.